What is up, people? This is Tonte here. It's been a while since I've made a video, and I just thought, you know what? I'm gonna make a video. And Arsenal have been on my mind so much that I just was like, you know what? I'm gonna just take to YouTube, and I just really want to just talk about this club because this club is just, I'm thinking about it too much, right? And I just thought, you know what? This is the time. I need to talk about this club. I need to. I might do some more videos about Arsenal. I'll see what people say. But regardless, this video, I'm just want to talk about what went wrong for Arsenal this season. What went wrong? Because this season, 2024-25, so much went wrong, and I just need to unpack everything. Because I hear what people are saying. I hear what a lot of the fans are saying. Injuries, red cards, there's so much things that people talk about, and for me personally, I'm not gonna lie, like I'm not, I can't jack the things that a lot of fans are saying. I'm gonna go down the line and talk about it as much as possible because injuries. I'm sorry, I can't use injuries. Arteta has had. He joined the club in 2019. He's had 5 years to build a squad that is of the best quality possible. And you've been in three title charges at this point. He's been in 2022-23, 23-24, and 24-25. This is three title charges, regardless of wherever we end up. Wherever we end up, we're not going to win the league. So that makes 3 seasons we didn't win the league. Now you have to account injuries for any club. Like any club, it doesn't matter who you play for. You have to account for injuries. Like you're not gonna have your whole squad. When the Invincibles, when they won the title, I don't know the stats, but the full team didn't play together all the time. There were injuries. You have to always account for injuries. And at this point, we know the players that are injury prone. We know Tomiyasu's injury prone. We know Jesus is injury prone. We know Partey is injury prone. Zinchenko injury prone. Martinelli sometimes gets injuries here and there. Players that are injury prone. So my thing has always been you have to plan for injuries, and you have to know that okay, you've got Hazard, you've got Havertz and Jesus. Jesus might go down, so that's your backup down. So you need to get another you need to get another striker. You have to plan accordingly, and our squad planning has been so dire. Like from our squad planning, from Havertz, we've brought Havertz in the team, made him one of our top earners. He's got no position. You've got a player that's got no position. And this is part of my issue with Arteta and his squad building. Because, okay, we can talk about the Cronkies having backed him, but at the end of the day, they've backed him enough to build a squad to his liking, to completely decimate Emery's squad and build a squad in your liking. And if they've done that, you need to build a squad that is able to withstand. Of course, like you get mad injuries and more injuries than you expect, but you've got to be able to withstand certain things. Your whole forward line is injured. Havertz, Martinelli, Saka, who we knew we needed to upgrade on Martinelli anyway. So regardless of that, we should have upgraded on him anyway and made Martinelli a backup and a rotation. So we could have done that, but we never did that. So now Martinelli goes down, you've got no replacement. We've known for 4 years that Saka needs backup. We've known this. Fans have been saying this and we've been crying out that he needs a backup. We've got no backup. So he goes down, we've got nothing. Then you got Havertz, which, like I said before, Jesus is injury prone. So if Havertz goes down, then it's just if Havertz goes down, then we've got nothing because Jesus is going to get injured at some point anyway. So that we need a striker. So we've needed forwards for how many years now, but we haven't got it. In the summer, we bought Mikel Merino, we bought Calafiori, and we got Sterling on loan, and Sterling was not in our options, was not in our plans. So we never got forwards, and now our whole forward line is injured, and now we've got nothing. So now we're looking like, the Kroenkes didn't back him, but we had options to get strikers in and forward from the summer and the summer before that. But we got Havertz, and we got we didn't need Havertz, bro. Like we never needed him. So I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, okay, so who do I blame? I blame the Cronkies for buying Havertz when Arteta, he was clamoring for that signing. Like he apparently was like fighting for that signing. So he fought for that signing, and you know these are compounded issues that lead to where we are now because you're fighting for players that haven't progressed us and have in a way hindered our transfer ability because you've got Havertz on big wages. So now you want to get another striker and make Havertz a backup striker, but Havertz is one of your top earners. So how are you going to make one of your top earners a backup? You know, you're going to get like, you know, you want to get, you know, Isak or Gyökeres or whatever. They're going to be the main striker because Havertz is just not that quality. So you've got the whole thing is just it's so confusing, you know, because now our whole squad planning is messed up because Arteta bought players that just haven't progressed us, you know, and that's part of where we are now because we're not scoring enough goals. Like Havertz, like he had a good purple patch at the end of last season, but where was it when we really needed it? When we needed it in the FA Cup, where was it? Where in against Newcastle and the Carabao, where was it? And these are reasons why we didn't progress in those tournaments because we didn't have the necessary firepower. So how can I blame the Cronkies for that when this is for Arteta to rectify? You know, I think about things like this. You know, I think about what we spent on our defence, and of course our defence is important. But I look at this season, and it's not even like we're winning games 1-0. We're shutting teams out. I could understand this season. We bought Mikel Merino. He's a defensive-minded player. We got Calafiori, a defensive-minded player. Okay, fine. We didn't get forwards. Fine. If it was the case where this season we're winning games 1-0, 2-0, we're shutting teams out, getting clean sheets, and we end up winning the league just through our defensive strength, then I can't fault Arteta. I can just say fair play to you. But he's buying defenders. He's bought so many defenders and defensive-minded players. But this season we're still shipping goals. We're still shipping goals, and if we're not scoring goals, then you need to not ship goals. So if you're shipping goals but you're not scoring goals, how are you going to win the league? If you're going to win the league on the strength of your defense, then let's do that. But we're not doing that. If you're going to win the league for your attackers, then let's do that. But at this point, we're not in any ground. We're not defensively impervious, and we can't score goals. So I look at that, and these are things that I look at and I say, okay, this is where we've gone wrong. Like this is where we've gone too far from where we were in 22-23, where the football was fast flowing, very aggressive, very much on the front foot, very much, you know, direct, and we're just, you know, like there's so much energy. And of course, we didn't win the league that season, but you know, of course, we got hammered against Man City, you know, 4-1 in the Etihad. And I think Arteta went too far in the other direction where he wants to be rigid and he wants to be this and he wants to be strong, but it's not done nothing. Like it hasn't helped us in any kind of way. You know, like we need the players where from that 22-23 season, we kicked on from there. Xhaka left, we need a player of that profile and upgraded from Xhaka. We knew that. Jesus got injured, we knew he needed a striker. So you knew already there you need an 8 and then you need a striker. So you already knew that's what we needed. So if he had just said, look, I'm just going to get Xhaka upgrade, Jesus upgrade. Even just those two positions and say, look, you put big money and get the proper players in those positions, then we can say, okay, we go forward to the next season. At least you've upgraded the team, and you know, you never know, you might be in a much better position, but the resources that you used on Havertz and Rice has been good, but Rice isn't, you know, we haven't won the league yet, you know, so you've got a Rice, but was Rice necessarily the best fit for us? I love Rice, but you know, you look at that and you think, okay, where's Rice's best position in the team? And this is where Arteta needs to really figure out what he wants to do. Is Rice at 8? Is Rice at 6? I like Rice in the 6. He's had good performances in the 8. So, but where do you want, like, where's his positions? Like, this is part of why we're in this position, because Arteta doesn't know where he even wants to put certain players, and it's hard to plan a squad and you want to buy players when you don't even know where you want to play players. You buy a striker now, does Havertz go back into in midfield where we know he hasn't worked, and we've dropped points in those positions when Havertz was a central midfielder where that it just never worked, and it's part of the reason we didn't win the league last season. So I look at that. I look at there's just so many failings. We bought Sterling on loan, he hasn't done nothing. We bought Neto, a goalkeeper that was never good enough. We got him. We got Calafiori, who I don't like him as a defender. I really don't. You know, I thought he would be like much more solid being an Italian, but he strips against like top wingers and even decent wingers. Like he's not a great defender. Miles Lewis Skelly is way better than him, so we didn't need like Calafiori. Then you've got Marino, who isn't good in any position. Like he had it, you know. Now he's playing up front because we've got too many injuries. But when he was in midfield, he didn't even do much either. You know, so why do we need to buy him? Where if you had just put all of the money on Calafiori and Gyökeres on a striker, if you had put the money on a striker that you spent on Calafiori and Marino, then you know you might be in a better position. You know, the money that you spend, if you put on Gyökeres, then maybe we might have been in a better position. At least you've got a striker there, because Havertz is not a striker. And even if Jesus is a striker, that's only one striker. You need a proper striker, and Jesus isn't even a proper striker. So you need a proper striker. We never got one, and I look at that, and you know all of this. You know you could blame the Kroenkes, but I put everything on Arteta, because regardless of whatever he was given or not given, he has the final say on the players that he brings to the club. And he's in charge of building a squad that is able to challenge. Klopp came and he built a squad that was able to challenge. Arteta has not built a squad that is able to challenge. Even when we didn't have injuries last season, we didn't win the league. So I can't point to injuries. And then red cards as well. I can't point to red cards because at the end of the day, it's in your hands. We've had chances to win the game even with 10 men, even in these games where we had unfortunate red cards. I can't point to red cards as the reason we're not winning the league. I can't. The Invincibles had red cards. Liverpool last season had red cards. They didn't win the league, but regardless, like teams get red cards. Teams, you have to overcome these adversities if you want to win the league, if you really want to win the league. And even if we didn't get those red cards, we still probably would be behind Liverpool, because I'm not looking at the cards, I'm not looking at the injuries, I'm looking at the performances. We haven't had a good performance this season, and well, we have had good performances, but we haven't put them together to make a winning runs. You know, when you want to win the league, you have to be able to put together runs, win 5 on a bounce. You know, I don't think we've won 3 games back to back this season in the league. Like that's just, you're not going to win the league like that. Even with Saka, it was the same. Even with Havertz, even with these players, like we weren't able to put together these winning runs. So I'm looking at that. I'm looking at the squad that we have. You know, defensively, our defenders haven't had any major injuries. Tomiyasu, we know he's gone. Midfield hasn't had any major injuries. So we haven't had any like crazy injuries above, bar the forwards. So we've got the majority of our squad actually together. So that's why I can't really jack the injury thing. Like I can't. Like I really can't, because we've had a majority of our team together, but we can't make chances. We can't get shots on target. We're relying on set pieces, which was fun when we were doing it initially, but we haven't done that in a while. We don't, like, you know what I mean? And even if we were doing it, is that what we want to do? Is that our football? Like set pieces? Like it's just not. Like I said, it was fun at first, but when the majority of your strategy is actually doing that, that's just, you're not going to win the league like that. It's not sustainable. So many things, we've gone in such a wrong direction, and I don't even like watching the team. Like I can't watch the team and think, raw, like where? I remember watching the team 2 years ago, I'm thinking, man, like we've got something here, and I was really saying like we got something here, but I'm looking at it now, and it's just not that same team that I watched 2 years ago, and it reflects when you watch it. Like I'm sure, like people I've talked to that are in the stadium, they say it don't feel the same. It don't feel the same as a few years back, where I could feel that connection. Like we was there, the energy was there, it was flowing. Now it just feels so slow watching it. We're walking. We're not. We're not turning up. Players that were so good a year ago just seem like a shadow of themselves. Odegaard, he seems like a shadow of himself. Saliba seems like a shadow of himself. Saka still showing up. You've got players like Gabriel still showing up. Rice, they're doing really well, still showing up. But at the same time, it's not the same that we were. And I put down Arteta personally. Like it's up to the coach to be able to bring the best out of these players and platform these players in the best way. But he can't do that. Like he hasn't coached an attack. I haven't seen him coach a competent, like a real attack. Obviously, we did well last season, but we're talking about over the course of a whole season. Now we're not. That's what we're really talking about over the course of a whole season. Um, the last year, the last season, this season gone by, the attack has been not as flowing as it was. And at the end of the day, even if it isn't, you need to get the results. And he hasn't been able to get the results. He hasn't been able to put together something that we can say this is a title winning team. Because it's not a title winning team. It's not even like we were a title winning team, but you know, certain things happened that came against us, and no, like we weren't equipped to win the league this season. And I personally think we're where we should be, personally. Like we're not at that level, and it's now up to Arteta to sort out the situation. Because personally, for me, I've said at the start of last season, this season I give it, this is his last chance to win the league. If he can't win the league or even a trophy this season, like even a trophy would have been a FA Cup, would have been enough to satisfy me personally until the next season and be like, okay, now I need to win the major honours. But no cup runs, no, nothing to celebrate. I said if he didn't win the league this season, if he didn't win a trophy this season, then he's got to go. And personally, that's where I am. If he doesn't win, like the league is done, the Champions League is still there. Can't see us doing anything there. But I just said, look, if you can't win anything this season, he has to go, and that's unfortunate. But I mean, I think he's done more to bring us to a certain level. But at a certain point, you got to say, all right, you've had enough. Like you've had your chance, and now we need somebody else to take us to the next level. That's where we are, because the project can only go so far. It only goes so far until Saliba leaves to Real Madrid or somewhere else, or one of the other players go to somewhere else, and then the other players start leaving, then other players start leaving, and then the project is done. You become Pochettino Spurs, and that's not what I want our club to be. We're not Spurs. Like I want us to be in a position where we're winning the major honours and we end up keeping these players, because I've seen Nasri leave, Van Persie leave, Fabregas leave. I've seen these players leave because we weren't doing what we needed to do, and we look like we're going back in that direction again. So it's really, we have to see where we are, man. Like I know I said a lot. I have a lot to get off my chest. I've even got a lot more to get off my chest, but like I don't want to be talking too long. So if they don't, if you want me to do more videos talking about Arsenal, there's so much more to unpack. Like there's so much things in Arteta's reign that I just mind-boggling. Like Willian, Marino, players like Vieira, Lokonga, like just if you want me to do more videos about Arsenal, I definitely will. But I just had to just do at least one video to get certain things off my chest, because this club is making my head hot, man. It's my head is just absolutely hot thinking about this club, what we've done this season, how we've messed things up, and where we go from here. Because I really don't know where we go from here. Like it seems like there's so many things going wrong. Edu's leaving in the middle of the season. We don't know why. Don't have a sporting director. Don't like. I don't know, man. But yeah, man, that's it, man. Let me know your thoughts, man. How you think this season has gone? What are your thoughts about Arteta in? Are you your thoughts on Arteta? Are you Arteta in or Arteta out? Let me hear your thoughts, man. I'll be back with another video another time. But yeah, man, thank you for joining me here, man. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm out.